Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Carol Lunn, thank you so much for being here first. I appreciate that. Hello, Helen Marmon, Mary H., Phyllis Johnson, Yulibi. Let's see. Rhonda Bryant. Yes, Rhonda Bryant. And Lydia Washington. And a host of friends and others. What could I say? It's a whole bunch of y'all. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay, didn't know that was playing back there. I think I better close some of this stuff down before it slows down the computer. Okay. I'll leave that and that. And I don't think I need that. Wouldn't it be cool if there was like a last minute, some last minute photos of the Sussexes? That would be so cool. I'm looking at some reliable sources right now, hoping that I'll see something, but nope. As Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, not on your knife. Or not on your knife. Okay, so not on your knife. Don't see any. Gosh, that would have been fun. Nothing? Nothing. I don't know why I was expecting them to just kind of pop up or something like that, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Emerald Derrick, thank you for being here. And Reba Henderson. Amelia Rodriguez, thank you very much. Excellent. All right, let's get on with it, shall we? I'm going to move myself out of the corner there. So, listen, I know we've had this problem with the mic going out. I have actually gone and moved some, the way I had things plugged in and set up. So, hopefully, this new configuration, I even changed the adapter for the microphone. So, hopefully, this new configuration will make a difference. The software is up to date. Lila Morgan, thank you so much for being here. Computers are a lot like human beings. The only difference is with a computer, you put the software into the hardware. And with people, you put. Anyway, never mind. There's no way to say that without it sounding weird. So why don't we just move on? Right. Okay. Right? Right. Okay. Let's see. I know some of y'all still going, huh? I don't get it. Church Nelly gets it. Okay. What do we have here? So this is what Charles and Godzilla was trying to replicate, reproduce. They were trying to capture the spirit of this moment where the Sussexes was at the Grand Pacific Hotel, and there was just hundreds, I don't know how many hundreds, if not whatever the number is, of people out there, well-wishers that just stood outside hoping that the Sussexes would make an appearance on the balcony. And of course, this was very much reminiscent of the time that Philip, or as the Queen would say, that Philip and Queen Elizabeth II stood on that very same balcony, right? And then, of course, Charles and Godzilla went walking down the steps of the opera house, just like Harry and Meghan. That one, not so impressive. It kind of reminds me of what's another one of those things that they tried to redo and it just didn't work out for them. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll give you another one. You know what? I'm going to show it to you later because I actually have that photo queued up and you can see it for yourself. Don't worry. I won't forget. I won't forget. And then we'll go back here and take another look. Okay. So take a look there. Now, this is something that those two old pensioners from Clarence House, they did not attempt to do this one. This is yet another look at that amazing, very successful. Their first royal tour was incredibly successful. And one thing that you could say about the Sussexes, their first royal tour was absolutely phenomenal. So much so that it turned the institution against Meghan and by default Harry. And then there was the last, shall we use their language, quasi royal tour, which was absolutely a success. Absolutely a success. They have never put a foot wrong. Do you guys realize that every tour that the Sussexes have traveled has been a resounding success? Every single one of them. You cannot say the same for, well, at the time it was the Cambridges. I don't even think they've done a tour abroad as Prince and Princess, have they? Not really, because they were acting for um, Earthshot when they went to Boston, so that doesn't count, does it? That was not a royal tour. Now, of course, to be fair, we have to say that what Harry and Meghan have been doing lately certainly does not qualify as an official royal tour. But in spirit, it is everything a royal tour should be. That and a whole lot more. But yeah, like this moment at Bondi Beach where they discuss mental health. You know, Megan just kicked her wedgies off and got in where she fit in and everybody loved her. The um electric yeah, the electricity, the way that energy just seemed to surge every place Harry and Meghan went. It was incredible. I can understand, although I don't approve, but I can understand why those people back home were, shall we say, a bit put off with the spectacle because it is certainly something they could never rise up to. And I will never forget when Harry said that he was happy and excited, and at the same time, he was very concerned because Harry is a student of history. And if past is prologue, then we all know that there was something waiting for him when he got home, waiting for them. And that was a very frigid reception from the royal family. I bet Charles never, ever said, good job, nice going, job well done. And you could almost bet your bottom dollar that there was no such response like that from his brother either, because they just don't have it in them. They just don't have it in them. They're too jealous. They're too jealous. Queen Elizabeth and Philip at the Grand Pacific Hotel. Okay, there we go. Got it. Oh, somebody said we can hear you. Oh, all right. Sorry about that then. Oh, Church Nelly, I see you. I see you. All right, we're good. Kathy G says every election is determined by the people who show up and vote. Here, here. And thank you for 33 months membership. Thank you very much. Okay. So I say to the William Olive Branch, there's vie for attention. You know, also, let me just say this. Wasn't this missing on the royal tour for Charles and Camilla? Remember, I said they didn't have that big headline on the web page, right? On the Daily Mail page, they didn't have this big headline. William haven't even left the country, and they're putting the big bold letters for him. But I say to the olive branch, it's more like William's clickbait. That's all it is. It's clickbait. All William said was that his mother took me, Harry, and I to the shelters to see the homeless, to see how the homeless people lived. That was it. That's supposed to serve as an olive branch. All he said was Harry's name. That is not an olive branch. As a matter of fact, it was said during the documentary. So I don't believe that that's an olive branch. I believe that he was just using Harry's name in conversation, right? And if he would have known, I'm going to say it was a slip of the tongue. That's it. He wasn't trying to impress anybody. He wasn't trying to win points. You know what? Hold on a second. Oh, I need to elevate my leg. There we go. That's better. Woo! That is better. Yes, now I feel like I can concentrate better. I am so comfortable now. Oh, Lordy. Excellent. CK says William is actually complaining that Harry is doing too much by doing more than looking at the homeless. Okay, right after the podcast this morning. This or something else? He's full of himself. Let me see. Oh, turn off the Bluetooth from the other devices. Okay. Okay. Well, let me see. I mean, I have to have it for. Well, actually, I don't. I don't. So. No, that's a good idea. Okay. Forget that device. Okay. Forget that device. All right. Forget that device. Okay, we're going to try this. I hope it works. And wait, what is that one? I'm going to keep that on there. I'm going to keep that one on there. All right. All right. All right, so we'll see if that works. We will see if that works, okay? Y'all remember who to blame if something goes wrong. So I just disconnected some stuff off my Bluetooth. So let's hope that it stops taking my mic out. Okay. Now, do you have a sense a shift from Williams for homes or, homeless thing, you know what that says, will end homelessness, show others how homelessness can be ended. Were you fully aware that thick you how thick you are before Billy the Builder told you? In other words, Prince William, I'll show people how to prevent homelessness. Something changed. It went from ending homelessness to preventing homelessness. Did you guys catch all that? It went from ending to preventing. That's a little sleight of hand, isn't it? Do you think somebody from Downing Street, someone from number 10, perhaps had a word with Willie Boy and told him that you are playing politics and that you best keep your mouth shut before people start noticing how many homes you have? Which reminds me of this article. I believe this was, yes, Richard K. How many more homes can a slim down royals justify at a time of an exploding cost of living crisis affecting working families up and down the country? Having three royal residents looks clumsy, insensitive, writes Richard K. Now, that is being a journalist. And the fact that this was actually published in the Daily Mail or on their website, however they did it, the fact that it was actually published is amazing. Now, the only problem I have is I think they're missing a home. Or are they? Are they missing a home? Because you have Adelaide Cottage, Anmer Hall, Kensington Palace, and they got some joint up there on the Balmoral estate. So, yeah. And why they mentioned Frogmore on that map, I don't even know because at this point, the Sussexes were not even living there full time and they were paying rent. So, what does this have to do with Harry and Meghan? Nothing. But this was a bold move, you know, that they actually seemed to call out the royal family. As a matter of fact, they are using William and family as the poster children. Yeah, I don't know why they got Frogmore there. And then take a look at the byline over there on the right side. Prince William is part of the problem. Plan for 24 new homes for homeless, dubbed drop in the ocean in Cornwall amid mounting crisis. So right there, you can see someone is speaking out about that scheme of Williams to build 24 homes when there's, I would imagine there are at least, I don't know how many tens of thousands of people that are homeless in the UK and or sleeping on someone's sofa or in someone's garden shed, right? In someone's basement or attic or wherever. Those are people that are insecure as far as housing is concerned. We have a problem in the US where people who have the Section 8 voucher, which is, the low income housing voucher, very much like council housing, they have the Section 8 voucher, but there are so many landlords that will not accept them. They just refuse to accept them. They're not interested in um, affordable housing anymore for various reasons, I'm sure. Sometimes the landlords lose money when they take on public housing. Um, it's not, I mean, it used to be it was just a guaranteed monthly rent, but now, um, every little thing, if you have 3 floors in a house and there's a loose latch on a window that can only be reached by a 20-foot ladder, then they will fail the property until you fix that loose. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of little minor things like that. Could be serious though. I mean, I wouldn't want to live in a place with mold, but you know what I'm saying? That's sometimes it can be very costly for the landlord too. Just be fair. Now, here's another one. Check that one out. Exclusive: Prince William is part of the problem. The heir to the throne planned for 24 new homes for homeless is branded a drop in the oh, I did that one already. On the right side there in June, we launched Homeward Homewards UK, a 5-year program to show it's possible to end homelessness. Now you see there, it said this was his language. This came from the Prince of Wales, a 5-year program to end homelessness. Now they have switched to prevention to prevent people from being homeless in the first place. I would say that that was something that you either have that survival skill or you don't. Everybody knows they need a roof over their head, but the thing is, housing is so expensive and out of reach. And the newer generations coming up, the price of housing is so incredibly high that fewer and fewer of the young working class people can actually afford housing. That is the problem. It's not so much that there's a lack of housing, but there's a lack of affordable housing. So building 24 units is not going to give the necessary lifeline that people need. Got to do something about these prices. And if building um, more housing, decent, affordable housing is the solution, then that's what it is. But this busy work that he's doing, this talking just to hear the sound of his own voice, is not helping. He went to a art gallery. He went to an art gallery about homelessness. It wasn't even a fundraiser. It was using materials that I guess brought attention or reminded you that there was homelessness. How is that helpful? Are you serious? Now, today, in what it says right here, today we're in, what's that, Burns Month? One of the 6 homewards locations to see how they're getting on and exploring the role of local businesses can play in supporting our mission. You couldn't do that with a Zoom call? You couldn't have Zoomed that? I believe that that one, that image right there, that's a screenshot I took. Whoever that guy is, I think he's mixed race. He has a very popular podcast. And Williams people called him and said that, how would you like to spend the day with the Prince of Wales? And of course, he took the person of color out and about, and they went around and shook hands and whatever else they did. And of course, it turned into another one of those slick videos of Williams with all of the cool hip music and slow motion frames, and this guy gets away with it. I'm just going to say that he really gets away with it. I don't know who the audience is for these videos, but I couldn't imagine that he's doing this out of vanity and that it's not actually serving a purpose. It could be. It could be. I mean, because there are some people around him that has been giving him some very poor advice thus far. But anytime someone's in contact with William, best believe there's going to be a still photographer, and then there's going to be a very traditional camera crew out there filming his every move. And that is supposed to serve as royal duties. He's already made it clear that he's not going to do the ribbon cutting and the unveiling that his grandparents has done all these years. And then right here, somebody said the quiet part out loud. As you can see, people have got your number, Willie Leaks. You will say anything for propaganda and self promotion. You're a lying hypocrite. Shame on you. And this has to do with a furious James O'Brien caller suggests William sell his assets to end homelessness. Yeah. If you're that morally outraged, how about you sell your assets? As Prince William launches initiatives to tackle homelessness, caller Colette is infuriated by royal family's attitude, stating they could eradicate homelessness in 5 minutes. She begins by telling O'Brien that she wasn't happy when she heard the news that Prince of Wales Charitable Foundation is putting in £3 million of a startup funding to help make homelessness rare, brief, and unrepeated. Now, that was the language, I believe, of the actual program, is that they're going to make homelessness. This is insulting. Let me just say this. This is flipping insulting. It is too casual. This is just too cheeky to get away with. And yet nobody's really calling them out on it. £3 million, 24 units. And that is supposed to make homelessness rare, brief, and unrepeated. Prince William is launching a major 5-year campaign in a bid to end homelessness, which he believes should not exist in a modern and progressive society. Where is that albino assassin? What's her name? Callahan. Where is she at when there's real word salad? Now, this is real word salad. Where's the albino assassin? Asserting her discontent to James, Colette said, I've not been happy since Saturday. To be honest with you, because on Friday we were told our mortgages were going up and people could lose their homes. Now, just a reminder, this is from June of 2023. Upon reading her Saturday morning newspaper, Colette told James she was disappointed to see that the royal family attending Ascot when people are enduring a cost of living crisis. Colette told James, I don't care if he and the Duchess of Cornwall or the Duke of Peckham, adding, first of all, I'd start with his father, King Charles. The caller added his dad's got an inheritance tax still to be paid if they use that money and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find a bit of land and build a bunch of high rises. And so we could, help England build more housing. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I'm pretty sure some of you that are more familiar with the UK know about the famous green belt. I mean, is that what they call it? The green belt? Those green spaces. You can be in a very urban like area, right? Somewhat urban area, a town. And next thing you know, as soon as you get to a certain point, it turns into farms. It becomes very rural, very fast. There's almost no in between. And that is something that, oh gosh, what is the amount of land in the UK that is actually built upon? I believe only about 15% of the land itself, of all the land in Britain, maybe about 15% is actually developed. Maybe it's smaller than that. I don't recall. I remember seeing that a long time ago, and I was just like, "Okay, I wouldn't want to turn Britain into a huge parking lot or subdivision," but they resist building affordable housing. They resist it. And they're not the only ones. There's a lot of places in this world where there is a need for housing. But in particular, with all of those rules that they have in Britain about what's listed grade 1, grade 2, how you can and how you may or may not use the land, it is not easy to even build an addition onto your house, and then neighbors will rat you out. How many times have you heard of someone trying to build something and they have gone maybe 1 foot over the plans and they have to tear the entire property down? There was a contractor that built, I think it was 5 mansions, and each mansion overshot the actual surveyed property that was allotted for the construction of these mansions. You know, like in America, we have the McMansions where, you know, everybody's house is kind of cookie cutter. There may be like 5 different styles of mansions divided into 200 properties, right? Well, this particular development, they went over, they went a little too high and a little too wide. All this was in Britain. All 5 mansions were razed, completely scrapped. No one had ever moved in. All of this while there is a persistent shortage of housing. Yeah, I've watched a lot of those, you know, rebuilding, this kind of like, you know, house, remodeling shows and such from over there, and it is unbelievable the amount of red tape, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how rich you are. If they say that's not possible, that you're not allowed to have a swimming pool, I be wondering sometimes, how would the neighbor even see it? Let alone, why would they care? But Ed Sheeran, he has a huge estate, and he has had nothing but trouble from his neighbors. All of the wealth that he has been bringing into the UK, all of the taxes that he is paying in the United Kingdom, and I think they were trying to fight him on the swimming pool. You could get in trouble if you have a listed property and you don't use the proper sashes for your windows. If you try to use PVC windows, where the frame is plastic as opposed to metal, and I agree it looks awful, but be prepared to come out of your pocket with some more money. It is incredible. As a property owner, you have so few rights. You have so few rights. Let's see. Oh, okay. I know that sometimes they have the floating. Remember when they were doing Frogmore and they said that Meghan was trying to put a dance studio in there because someone heard floating floor and they thought that she was putting in some type of like dance studio, when in actuality, that means that you cannot remove the tiles that are in place. You are allowed to build a new floor on top of the other, but they call it floating because it has to be done strategically so that it doesn't damage the pre-existing listed floor. There are cases where a staircase is listed, which means it's protected. You cannot alter the staircase. There are certain parts of the house that and you are the property owner, and you better not touch it. It's amazing. And listen, you guys, I am a preservationist, and I do agree that the heritage is definitely worth fighting for, but I just think some of it is rather excessive. Yeah, but they need to yeah. Oh, you guys seem to be very knowledgeable about this. I'm looking at some of the comments and you guys seem to be very knowledgeable about these topics. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what people are trying to save or the nostalgia. If you have people that are homeless and suffering from lack of housing, then find some type of compromise. Find some kind of space, and if that's not possible, then try some reclamation. Build new shoreline. Do some, what do you call it, landfills or something. Yeah, they could always, San Francisco has landfill. Chicago has landfill. Lower Manhattan is mostly landfill. You have to do what you have to do, but people need housing. People need housing. This is like and I also believe that one of the reasons that there's no urgency with most of these lawmakers is because so many of the lawmakers are landlords, because so many of these lawmakers invest in these real estate conglomerates. There's a couple of companies in the US that built thousands of properties, and they were hoping to rent these properties, right? But um, they actually began to put them on the market. But because of them buying all these properties, they caused the housing market to become so incredibly tight that the home prices were like going through the roof. So just a handful of people are the landlords to tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. That is really, really unfair. And then they wonder why. Oh, you know what? You just took the words right out of my mouth. And then they're wondering why younger people are leaving the UK in droves. Exactly. Exactly. But Detroit Detroit was a city of what, almost 2 million people, maybe? And there was a great deal of flight from New York, not Detroit. I'm sorry, Detroit. That's what I meant to say, Detroit. Anyway, a lot of people left Detroit, but some very adventurous people, especially like young artists and stuff, they have gone to Detroit and bought these old mansions for a song and a dance and rehab them, and they look incredible. They look incredible. There are bargains to be had if you move into some of these old industrial cities that have virtually collapsed because of the lack of jobs and such. There are some bargains to be had. I mean, there is some amazing property. Yeah, they're kind of run down, but the guts and bones of the property is you could see that it was once a very grand space. Okay, for people that don't live in the US, whenever you hear Victorian age, you always think Britain, right? You always think England. But the Victorian age was just as important. It influenced so many things in the US that if you go to any old city by US standard, older cities, um, like Cleveland, uh, well, yeah, and yeah, the old industrial cities, all of those cities along the Rust Belt, all of those Midwestern cities, from the Midwest all the way to, let's say, the East Coast, you will find tens of thousands of these townhouses that the architecture was definitely inspired by London, by the industrial and revolution, uh, industrial age properties of the UK. They had the same upstairs, downstairs type of layout. They have the accommodations for the hired help. It is an absolute mirror to the type of housing that you would find any place in the UK, from a, middle class neighborhood where there were doctors and lawyers and that kind of stuff. You will find a lot of that in the USA. In some of those cities, people have moved away to the suburbs, but the younger people are buying those properties and they are doing some amazing things with them. But they look every bit, I mean, there's just some blocks, some streets where you would think, you know, you could use it as a backdrop for, you know, an English movie or television show. So there's a lot of places like that in the US, you have no idea. But, there's a lot of them in Chicago, bunch of them, a bunch of them, and not just one neighborhood, various neighborhoods around the city where you can find these Victorian era, mansions that were built back in the 1860s, the 1870s, 1880s, 90s. Beautiful, beautiful properties. Very elegant, very spacious, grand staircase, all that kind of stuff. Thousands of them. And a lot of them just need a little TLC. Okay, let's move on. I'm just about done with the housing. Uh, yeah, legs. Absolutely. Many distilleries have revived the old industrial cities. Millennials have flipped these historic properties with amazing architecture and repurposed them into new homes as well. Yeah, and then too, a lot of the newer construction that have been, slotted in between some of the older structures. They are virtually identical at a glance. They're virtually identical at a glance, definitely inspired by the older property, right? Except whereas the older property may have, let's say, three livable floors in the basement, these newer properties could be like 5 stories tall, like a duplex. You have an upstairs, downstairs apartment at the top, and then there's one at the bottom, and then someone may live on the garden level. So they're getting 5 floors of livable space out of what may be next door that is actually only 3 floors of livable space. It's a genius the way they do that. But yeah, it's incredible. If you don't live in one of those like old industrial cities, and you ever have the opportunity to see some of those Victorian neighborhoods, yeah, you don't just have to go to New York to see a brownstone. They have them all over the Midwest. All over the Midwest, they have them. Oh, you know what? I didn't even get a chance to look at that one. What does it say? Okay, utterly shameful photo. Bloke on the right given everything on a golden platter, nothing earned, making limelight of a poor homeless guy on the left. I still remember when they someone took a picture and posted it on Twitter, and it was a photo of William with a photographer in tow, dressed up, wearing that what looks like a Rolex watch. He's out there selling the Big Issue, which is a magazine that give homeless people or people risking homelessness an opportunity to make money by standing, say, outside of a train station, and they sell these issues of the magazine. Every big city has a version of the Big Issue. They may have different names, but every big city has some scheme like this. And the people have their credentials, they have a little badge on their lanyard or whatever, which makes them an official vendor. And it's a pretty cool scheme because, they're responsible for selling the papers and they sell them at a profit. Let's say if they buy the papers for 50 cents or a dollar or whatever, and they can sell them for $3, well, they got something to do. They're outside, they're talking to people, and they have the dignity of fending for themselves. So, very, very cool. William is making a mockery of it, but it's very cool. And let's see right here. It says, William, on in other news, this is a parody account. I'd like to thank the Big Issue for using them as PR stunt last year, since I had no legacy to show for my 40th. Oh, yes, right. This was his 40th birthday. Next month, they will be closing down while I continue to fool people. I care about the homeless. I remember I don't know if the magazine ever closed down. I don't recall if it ever closed down, but I do remember they said that they were uh, risking running out of business or whatever. Okay, the wealth can afford to buy the British property, they can afford to comply with renovation codes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Very interesting topic, you guys. I wish I had time to make a video about what we're discussing here, but I don't know. Maybe one day I will, but I'd have to gather a whole. See, it's easier for me to do this stuff because, like, you see all these images right here. This is stuff that I've had archived, and I can just, go to it. But if I do some other topic, oh my God, that's a lot of work. It's not to say I won't do it though, because it is something I'm very interested in. Okay, and then there's this one, which I can barely see any of that. What does it say? Well, anyway, we've seen the one about William's love of sleeping rough with black men. Like right there, my friend Prince William is no racist. Prince William reminds us that he once slept with a black man, and that should prove he's not a racist. Seyi Abakin has known Prince William for more than 10 years and once slept rough with him. He speaks about their enduring friendship. I wonder if he's ever been over for dinner. I wonder if they've ever actually spent some time that was not in front of a videographer or a still photographer that was hired to make William seem as though he cares. Wonder if that's the case. Just in case you were wondering why all the homeless people have vanished, there are big events on around Westminster and Whitehall. I believe they were speaking about the homeless people that were kicked out just in time for the Queen's funeral. Let's see. I remember watching the Midwest be transformed. Ohio in 2003 had dilapidated homes, neighborhoods being revived. I remember when these distilleries came to Minneapolis and the people that came from it. Yeah, um was it Cincinnati or Cleveland where they had turned so much of the downtown into a outdoor parking lot? They had leveled a bunch of old office blocks and stores and stuff, and the whole downtown looked like you were at a big shopping mall that just happened to have a few tall buildings. And they realized that that was such a mistake, and they have been trying because, it's a beautiful location right there by what is it, Lake Erie? Um, wait, Erie, or yeah, Ontario, Lake Ontario, Erie. Anyway, it's a beautiful location, and it'd be such a shame to, you know, have all of that asphalt and concrete when you could actually have trees and shops and restaurants and stuff. But cities are great. Cities are great. Some people don't like the cities, but having the option to be a pedestrian, to ride your bike to the supermarket or something like that. I haven't done it much lately, but I used to grab my backpack, and you'd be amazed at how much stuff I could get in that thing. And I just hop on my bike and go, and you feel that adrenaline pumping when you get to the store and everything. It's very cool, very cool, so relaxing. Connie Bomber! Connie Balmer, thank you so much for being here. What an honor. Okay, take that away. And lastly, I think this is the last part of the homelessness and William's scheme. Um, William, I don't want to be cynical and say, oh, I wonder if William volunteered to help in the kitchen because of all of those phallic like food products laying about. Would I be a pessimist by assuming such? I don't know. I'm going to assume that he's done that out of the goodness of his heart. I don't believe. Well, anyway, let me stop. Okay, Prince William sleeps rough for a night. Prince Williams spends cold night on street of London with Centrepoint boss in role as patron of homelessness charity, which also translates into he once slept rough with a black man. Okay, you could say yes. It was for the sake of a homelessness charity. Or you could also say that he once slept rough with a black man. Okay, I got that out my system. Washington Post won't endorse in White House race for the first time since the 1980s. And there's a lot of people that are very, very disappointed. But let me just say this, we ain't going back. I'm with her. Excuse me. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. And yeah, that's what the vice president says. I'm speaking. Let me be clear. I'm speaking. I love that. Let me see. William didn't stay the entire night. I think he left. Of course he did, because his royal protection officer had to take his kids to school that day, the next day. So, and I'm talking about the royal protection officer, their own children, not William's children. But yeah, yeah, it was just long enough to take some photos, and then he got the hell out of there. I bet you William was like, mate, I thought I saw a pub down the street. William probably went to a pub, especially if there were any rainbow signs outside. William probably went to a pub and ordered himself the finest, and I do mean the finest, pulled pork sandwich that they have in the house. Okay? Yeah, why would he stay on the street when he could just pop into one of those pubs or bistros and grab himself a delicious pulled pork sandwich? Thank you, Legs. Thank you for the super chat. Did you now? That's interesting. Come on, Donnie. Do one more debate with me. Just one. No, no. We're not going back. We're not going back. Don't you love this illustration? Look, take a look. As you can see, his little tiny, weird hands are digging into the earth, scratching as he tries to prevent himself from being dragged into modernity. Ah, very cool. If you guys have not purchased the membership for Royal Sussex, please do. It's a great way to support the channel. Um, Let me see here. I am going to post that at the top of the chat. Membership started just $4.99. While I was in the hospital for those days, I was unable to work. But believe me, having had the support from the memberships was a great way to, sustain the momentum of the channel. And of course, it's greatly appreciated. So just $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. I mean, let's face it, some of y'all spend as much time with the Sussex squad as you probably spend more time with the Sussex squad than you spend with your Netflix or your Prime or something like that. And believe me, there's a lot of work that goes into Royal Sussex. So for just $4.99 a month, you could help support the channel. Wouldn't that be great? I like it. Okay. Okay. Now, this is a great photo right here. That is Michelle Obama and, of course, Kamala Harris. That was at the rally today. Michelle Obama gave a great, 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 great speech. A great speech. It was wonderful. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you try to get a chance to see that. Oh, do you all recognize that young lady right there? To all beef patties. Okay, let me say it like Kamala would. Let me be clear. To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Okay, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. I'm speaking. So, yes, that is the vice president, all dressed up in that very retro McDonald's uniform. She looks beautiful. And how adorable that uniform. Don't you love it? That is adorable. Wow. How cool is that? And of course, present day Kamala Harris, the Ray-Bans have been passed on. Yes, the Ray-Bans, the magic Ray-Bans from president to vice president, soon to be the what, 47th president of the United States? Wow. Who would have ever thought we would live to see the day? Who would have ever thought? I'm just I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that so many people are fighting against this historic moment. They would rather have uh the clown instead of the actual McDonald's worker. Okay? Now just last week we saw the clown had actually worked the drive-through window. They fried the french fries. They even put on an apron, okay? So, if you got time for that clown, surely you have time for the McDonald's employees. So, just thought I would point that out. Now, check that out. How cool. Now that is the way I see the vice president, soon to be president. Might as well put a 47 on that shield. And of course, singing the greatest hits, the greatest alt-right, right-wing, white supremacist, male, entitled male American white supremacist, with just a little tinge of racism mixed in with it, just for good measure, singing his greatest hits. I don't know who put this together, but this just tickles me. This really just tickles me. JD Vance, he touched me. I don't even want to know about it. But JD Vance, he touched me. So, yeah, there you go. I don't want to know what it was about. I don't want to know what it was about. But somebody touched him. And well, he's here to sing about it. And listen, you guys, I would not discount that you know, that album, because who knows, it may go platinum. It may actually go platinum. So, okay, let's move on. And Richard Palmer. Richard Palmer is getting a lot of airtime today, right? Richard Palmer is getting a lot of airtime today. Thousands have turned out to greet the king and queen and enjoy their visit to Australia and Samoa. But royal trips to Commonwealth countries, and particularly overseas realms, are giving the palace a headache. My piece for the I newspaper today, um, I forgot what the I is for. What newspaper is that? Yeah, I guess it's I News. The king is adept at diplomacy. Wait, let me put this on another screen so it's bigger. I can barely see that. Okay. Ah, that works. That works. Much better. Okay, the king has adapted diplomacy, but he is caught in the middle of some big historical controversies. There's not a cigarette paper between him and the British government view on reparations, for example. But where does that leave him as king of the Bahamas? There was going to be a rethink about the Commonwealth visit after William and Kate's disastrous 2022 Caribbean tour, but that has been shelved because of events and illness. Edward and Sophie postponed their visit to Grenada, and Charles is also king, where Charles is also king, but they have not been back. For anyone wanting to update on the political decisions at the Commonwealth Summit. All right, whatever, Richard. Okay, so there's that. Let me mind you, I didn't look at that article. Um, I didn't really care. So royal tours may soon be over for good due to anger over slavery. Harry and Meghan. Now, you know what? I do believe that there's some truth to that. There's a lot of people that find it very hard, very difficult to even look at the royals, let alone get excited about their visit because of the mistreatment of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Not easy. It has not been easy. So, make of it what you will. But I do believe that that's part of the problem because it shows that it demonstrates, should I say, that the royal family, which some people consider to be like the biggest, um, or should I say, one of the most racist institutions in the world, in that it seems to uphold white supremacy. The face of it is white. Most of the people that work behind the scenes are white, but yet people of color contribute their tax dollars, right? And the treasures and the wealth of the royal family of Britain has come from dozens of territories, now nations around the world, where they have been plundered of their wealth. They have been robbed of their humanity, and they literally took people. The Koh-i-Noor diamond, right? The Star of Africa, spirited away from the nations where they originated, if not, you know what? I'm going to just say that the Koh-i-Noor, I don't know where that originated from, but I know it was stolen from a child. That child was kidnapped and presented as a gift to Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria had a menagerie of children. They gifted children to Victoria, and not just children, but princes and princesses were presented to her as a pet, as a curiosity, a conversation piece. That is what the royal family represents. When I started talking like Petal, first of all, I get very impressed with myself. I'm like, ooh, I'm starting to sound a little bit like Petal, which of course is a compliment because I think Petal is absolutely extraordinary. There's something about Petal of Facts and Two Cents that elevates my consciousness. You guys know that, don't you? She elevates my consciousness. Petal is fearless and she's very detail orientated. And I mean to tell you, she can explain some stuff. So when I find myself going on those roads like that, I'm thinking, okay, that was a little pedal that time. I put the pedal to the metal. So there you go. Now, pedal is amazing. And if pedal is watching right now, you have been an inspiration. But just remember, mom likes Royal Sussex more than she likes Facts and 2 Cents. I'm just saying. And if Pedal's mom is watching right now, hey, Pedal's mom. But yeah, Pedal's mom loves Royal Sussex. She tends to watch it more than she watches Facts and 2 Cents. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What is, how do they say it? Kid tested, mother approved. Well, mom approves of Royal Sussex. So, hey, Pedal's mom. If nothing makes me proud about this channel, the fact that Pedal's mom approves of Royal Sussex means a lot to me. It really does. So I'm just terrible, ain't I? I don't even know how I started on talking about that. Now, Church Nelly put the link for Pedal Facts and 2 Cents up there. But yeah, Pedal can explain some stuff, y'all. And when I'm doing a certain level of explaining, I'm always thinking, now I think Pedal would approve. I do. I always have an eye toward Facts and 2 Cents. So there you go. All right. So where did I leave off? Royal Tour. Okay, I did that. There have been protests and calls for reparations on slavery during the King's visit to Australia and Samoa, along with disquiet over the situation for the Sussexes. The future of international royal tours looks shaky. Well, if you think the future looks shaky, did I hear them say they think the future looks shaky? Is that what I just heard? Stay with me. I'm about to make a point. If you think that the future of royal tours looks shaky, what do you call this old bro? Huh? If you think royal tours look shaky, what do you call this old broad? Yeah, huh? I think the tours are not the only thing shaky. Uh, I would say that this old queen is shaky, and I don't mean Charles. This old queen is shaky. I mean, she can barely walk in a straight line. They really should give her a sobriety test before they let her out on these royal tours, don't you think? Because she can barely walk a straight line. They should have her do a sobriety test. Look at her. Look at her. Huh? What? 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 A pub? What pub? There's a pub nearby? What pub? Charles? Buck, 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 Charles? That old silky chicken. Buck, 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 Charles? What pub? Buck, 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 buck. Yeah. So I'm just saying, when I heard shaky, I got triggered. When I heard shaky, I got triggered. The only thing I could think of was Camilla walking down the line, refusing to make eye contact, merely slapping people's hands away from her. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. Now, see, I didn't think about that, Maurice Brown. You think so? I didn't even think about that. I just thought maybe it was the heat or you know, and then you see Charles was walking kind of close, and with Charles and those amazing childbearing hips, that's enough to make you kind of walk in the eye. Well, no, his hips ain't touching her. So yeah, I don't know what it was. Listen, you guys, I'm getting way off the topic. Let me get back on track here, shall we? I got to get back on track. Um, so Chris Ship, remember that's with a P, not a T. If you spell it with a T, then it would be Chris. You just want to spell it with a P, not a T. Chris Ship with a P, not a T. King on point. I'm sorry, on point. King on painful aspect of past as demands grow for slavery reparations. Pledges to serve Commonwealth like his mother for however many years God grants me. I will join you and the people of the Commonwealth on every step of this journey. Well, until he goes to that great storm shelter over at Windsor Castle, the St. George Chapel, until he goes into that storm shelter at the St. George Chapel, then he will be the head of the Commonwealth. Okay. Now, listen, there are some things. There are some things when I just wait. I just wait because I know it's going to be good. You can't have too many queens in one place. If you got too many queens in one location, then all of a sudden it turns into like a reality TV show, right? Too many queens can really spoil the situation. And I'm not speaking of heads of state or consorts, but when William goes to South Africa, there is going to be two queens in the same proximity of each other, right? They're going to be very close. One queen was born to a life of privilege, and the other queen, well, they seem to have decided to put on some type of pantomime where they don't seem to know which side of the bread they want to butter. And I can feel that there's going to be a disaster because I do suspect that one or maybe both of these queens keeps a box of Arm& Hammer baking soda nearby at all times. Okay? Yes. When you look at one of these queens, I don't know if you've seen that queen at the White House, but I do believe that there was just a little bit of Arm& Hammer baking soda. That's what the rumor is. Little baking soda. The kind of baking soda that you can't go through TSA with, right? That baking soda. But yeah, so that is going to be interesting. I cannot wait to see it because I'm telling you, that queen is an attention seeker. She loves to be seen and to be heard and to draw attention to herself. Yes, legs. They have actually declared this as a star-studded event. This is a star. Thank you for the super chat studded event. Yes. And you know what? I don't think you could really have that many queens around and no studs. So a star-studded event is called for. See what I just did there? Yeah. This is going to get messy. I know it's gonna get messy. Whatever happens, the tabloid media is going to cover, and they are not gonna talk about the more embarrassing parts of this. But they made a huge mistake by bringing that one. They made a huge mistake because that one is messy. Messy, messy, messy. You see, she might get through it without incident, but she can be very messy. Yep. And she just had to sell her house too. Wild Joy said, which queen are we talking about? I see 5 on the screen. Cheers. Uh-huh. Thank you for the super chat. I see 5 of them too. Either I'm on baking soda or I didn't had some of Camilla's cough syrup, or I see 5 queens. Oh, she's messy. She is very messy. That one is a messy one. Leg says, who are the winners? Isn't this November 6th? Good luck. Thank you, Legs. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be messy, and I'm here for it. So Nina Dobrev, Heidi Klum joined star-studded lineup for Prince William's Earthshot Prize award ceremony. The Prince of Wales will also be joined by Billy Messy Porter and Robert Irwin as he takes his environmental initiative to South Africa on November 6th. Oh, Billy Porter in South Africa. Hmm. The only thing that would be more fun than that was if they were having this event, I don't know, in Jamaica. That'd be cool. Let me stop being messy. Oh boy. So good luck, y'all. Good luck. I cannot wait. So Billy Porter and Winnie Harlow. As you know, Winnie Harlow, she has the vitiligo, and she became very famous because of her skin condition. She turned a negative into a positive, and she's the absolute darling of the fashion world. So Nina Debrov, I didn't know who she was, is a Canadian actress. She rose to prominence in 2009 on CW series The Vampire Diaries, playing a dual role as Elena Gilbert and Catherine Pierce. Dobrev also starred as Mia Jones in Degrassi's. Oh, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. The Next Generation, her famous film included Roommate, uh, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Let's Be Cops, The Final Girls, and The Love Hard. And Love Hard. Okay. Never heard that one either. Oh, well, she must be good. She must be good. Well, anyway, she won't be the only actress because yeah, she won't be the only actress. Anyway, let me stop. You guys, it's Saturday night. Well, actually, now it's Sunday morning, and I am getting weird. So I got to hurry up and get off of here. Leg says, wait, Billy Porter and Winnie Harlow. Wow, not enough space for these queens. It will be the real housewives on this one. I disagree with Winnie. Uh, you remember how she was on Top Model? I did not see that. I did not see that, but I'm here for it. I just feel like my guts tell me this has the ingredients of messy. This is going to be messy, and I'm here for it. So, um, as a matter of fact, why they should just do this as a reality show. If William has ever been pining for a reality show appearance, now is his chance to have an official sanction uh, Kensington Palace reality show. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Woo! Well, this is one way to get people to look at it. Robert Collins, ciao. All right. All right. Very cool. Thank you so much for being here. So, the Saturday paper editorial King, you've been served. Lydia Thorpe is enjoying her new celebrity status as that person that cussed out King Charles III. Charles sits on a throne of stolen land. As a country, we should be discomforted by our comfort. We should hear the ringing voices of dispossession. We should have the maturity not to be belittled the truth, but the not to belittle the truth, but to embrace it. I chatted on the Saturday papers, so yeah, she is enjoying. She is like the it girl of anti whatever, but yeah, she's not for that family. That's the one that called Queen Elizabeth a colonizer. She is fearless, and I live for her. I wish she was going to the Earth Shot. I wish she was going to the Earth Shot. Oh, I wish she was going. Ooh, I wish she was going. I would pay good money for Lydia Thorpe to be at the Earthshot prizes. Yeah, I would pay good money. She throws colonizer out there like somebody tells the time of day. What time you got? Colonizer. Colonizer queen, which is probably what she would call William, a colonizer queen. Listen, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is getting so out of hand. And I still got so much to cover. I got so much to cover. An hour and a half, and I still got so much to cover. Uh, oh, yes, an hour and a half, and I still got so much to cover. So let me keep moving here. Camilla had enough of black and brown people and ditches them mid sentence. This woman can't hide her contempt of people of color. The entire and these are 3 comments about this trip. You know what? Let me do this first. Let me do this first. Uh Oh, did I save that one or not? Oh, I did not. I did not. I thought I had a video for that one, but let's just do the comments. The entire trip was a disaster, an absolute disaster. On their welcome, Tampon Charles left her to walk down by herself and didn't bother to wait for her as she struggled down the stairs. That means there was an open bar. Um, on departure, as seen in this video, she contemptuously left the colored folks mid speech for Charles alone. Okay. Then the next person, by the way, I took away their accounts. I clipped that out of it so you couldn't see who said these things, but she has no manners, elegance, or class. It's disgusting that she's being called the queen as though she's in any way the same league in any way the same league as the late Queen Elizabeth II. What an embarrassing come down. You might as well put a pig in a dress and curtsy to it. Uh, okay. That person just gave me my life. You know that, don't you? And then the last quote that I'm sharing with you from someone else on social media. By the way, I do not think these are squatties. These were just people that were on social media. Let me see. I don't think she fits enough. She is no spring chicken. Yeah, I don't think she's fit enough. She's no spring chicken. I think it may be too much for them to cope with. Shame they don't have a young, vibrant couple with personality, bags of enthusiasm, and enough energy that could take over. Well, I believe this person is being sarcastic. I believe that they are speaking about, oh, I don't know, this young couple. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, can you guys see that? Yeah, I guess you can. I wonder why it's not on my screen. Oh, well, that's weird. But yeah, that's the young couple that she's speaking of. Wow, this weird. I can see it on the alternative screen, but I can't see it on the main screen. Weird. Huh. Anyway, there. Now that one I can see. I couldn't see the other one though. Well, I tell you, StreamYard is always full of surprises. Always surprises. Okay, and next. So let's look at these in order. As opposed to saving that clip, I actually did a series of screenshots. So everybody was talking, right? Camilla turned and began to climb the steps, as you can see. So from top to bottom, left to right, Camilla turns abruptly, started climbing the steps. Up she goes, up she goes. Then she gets to the top. And because of all that cough syrup she's ingested, I guess she had a little bit of a congestion or whatever. But whatever paint thinner or cough syrup that she's ingested, she couldn't seem to figure out how to close the umbrella. So she just kind of left it to someone else and disappeared around the corner. You see the top left there? Yeah, she had had enough of it. And then Charles abruptly turns and started up the steps and up the steps. And he too seemed to struggle with the umbrella. But the two of them got on their plane, the door was sealed, and off they went. This was a monumental waste of time. Monumental waste of time. The the result of this trip was they went to Australia and found out that they're just not that popular. There was nothing but contempt from a certain sector of the population. There was a very blasé attitude by others. Most people didn't even know they were there. The premiers of the various territories or states did not bother to show up. The equivalent of say the governor of New York, the governor of Florida, the governor of Texas, governor of California, governor of Michigan, the equivalent thereof. There's only what, 5 or 6 of them? All of them said, I got other stuff to do. I am not going to meet His Majesty or the Queen. I'm not. Queen consort. They just abruptly decided that they're not. They had all that time to prepare for this visit. One senator had the guts to emerge from the back of the room and called Charles a colonizer, among other things, accused him of theft, in possession of body parts, and so and a whole bunch of things. If you're not familiar with that, some of the scientists in Europe occasionally would preserve body parts of indigenous people from other lands, and they would keep their skeletons and all kind of disgusting things. And in some cases, these museums, these universities are still in possession of what used to be a human being, and they will not give them back. They don't even want to discuss it. I'm going to say in Germany, I believe, yeah, I'm going to, well, should I say in Europe? I believe Germany has done the most to repatriate human remains and treasures, I think. I think they've done more than any other country in Europe thus far. I may be wrong about that, but they have repatriated treasures and human remains, which is disgusting to think about, but I think that they've done more. Excuse me. Yeah, they should have stayed. This was a waste of time. It was a waste of time. They ignited the Republic movement in Australia. That's what they've done. They've ignited it. What was a smoldering fire is starting to pick up and turn into a big blaze. Let me see if I have my slides from yesterday. What am I looking for? Yeah, oh, this is what I was looking for. As Chris Ship with a P, not a T said, this is the summit of the Indian Prime Minister chose to attend today in Russia with President Putin and Xi Ping of China, Ping Chi of China, China. Anyway, India sent a foreign minister to hear the king's first address to Samoan heads of government meeting 2024. They didn't even bother to show up. I believe there was some 20 heads of state that should have been in attendance that didn't even bother to show up. They didn't even bother to show up. They didn't care enough about the heads of government meeting. Instead, they went over there to make some deals with Putin and Xi. That's a hell of a thing. And the fact that the tabloids are not even reporting this, that should tell you how pitiful this is. This is embarrassing. Charles has been snubbed. He has been snubbed. And they won't say the word, they will not print the word. This is a major snub. And I do not feel sorry for him. And I'm going to tell you why. Aside from everything else that's happened with Harry and Meghan, these same dark forces, these same tabloid media people that work so hard to humiliate Joe Biden when he came to visit, President Biden came over to visit, and they said and did and acted in every possible way they could to humiliate and embarrass the president of the United States. I could not believe the way Joe Biden was treated when he went over for that state visit. Could not believe it. And I mean to tell you, they were relentless. And they've always treated Joe Biden like that. So even though they're not saying the quiet parts out loud, I do not feel sorry for him. He has made bargains with these press people, with Fleet Street, with the Rupert Murdochs and the Lord Nappyheads, Ruthermore, Furthermore, whatever his name is, the racially ambiguous owner of the Daily Mail. He has alliances and treaties and agreements with them, the invisible contract. If he cannot pick up the phone and say, lay off of this head of state or lay off of this government official, then I don't feel sorry for him, because his friends treated Joe Biden appallingly. And this is before all of the stuff with Gaza. I'm sure a lot of people at this point that are, caught up in their feelings, and rightly so, with President Biden. Hey, I get it. But it's an election year. I understand it. But even before that, he was being treated in a very terrible way. So much for a special relationship. So much for a special relationship. Yeah, the BRICS summit. Yeah, the BRICS. That's it. The BRICS. You can see it up there in the top right. The BRICS. That is it rivals the G7 or the G8. It's like a rival to those people. And the heads of government, well, they had to choose a side, and they decided to go with Putin and Xi. Yeah, and the tabloids will not mention it. So wait, and look at there. There they go, slithering away in defeat. They slither down into their flying iron bird in defeat. Defeated. Two pensioners who began an affair some 50 years ago, right? The forbidden love between the Prince of Wales and that desperate housewife. All of them adulterers. Her husband, Princess Anne, Charles, and Camilla. Serial adulterers, all of them. They are supposed to be an example to us all. And serial adulterers. And even worse, he brought that monster into the sacred Westminster Abbey for the coronation and had a crown placed on her head in a church. One of the most sacred spaces in all of the Western world. He, the supreme governor of the Church of England, morally bankrupt. So watching them walk up those steps in a state of disgrace, I couldn't be more pleased. Awful people. Awful. Some people are mad because you're not suffering like they expected you to. Some people are mad because you're not suffering like they expected you to. Dorothy Ross. Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm so happy to see you here. You know that we've all been thinking about you and praying for you. I know the Duchess of Success has mentioned you a couple of times, wondering if anybody has heard from you. But I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. I hope treatments are going well. And thank you for being so supportive to the, and I mean on behalf of the entire content creators and Sussex Squad community. Thank you for the support. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. You know, that whole thing, I'm going to tell you, one of the things that really bothered me was that thing about the Sussexes hitching a ride on Air Force One. Of course, the Biden administration did not dignify that with a response. It was stupid, asinine, and stupid. Just, it made no sense whatsoever. I don't know. I do believe that's one of those things that started with the derangers, and then it made its way into the tabloid press. But I believe that was like some speculation from a deranger, and it just took on a life of its own. It never made sense. I could not imagine that any government official from I'm going to give the number 10, whatever minister or whatever, I believe they said it was the ambassador to the United States. I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to just say I don't believe that there was a phone call from anyone from the United Kingdom to the president's office saying, do not give them a ride on Air Force One. I don't believe that happened. I will never believe that happened. I believe it was just a vicious rumor that got out of hand. Having gone through hell, being abused and mistreated by the British press after the Queen's death, who would hop on a plane at Heathrow and go to Washington, Dulles Airport? Who would go to Washington and then transfer, or is it Nellis or Dulles? Anyway, transfer to another airport and find a flight to California when you could just go to Heathrow or charter your own plane and get back to your children as fast as possible. Do you see why that doesn't make sense? Do you see why that is so stupid? That's why that didn't make sense. You went over for a few days and suddenly you're away from your children for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Hitching a flight with the president of the United States would be the last thing I want to do if my children are on the other side of the world, 5,000 miles away. That never made any sense. And I just don't want to believe that the ambassador from the court of St. James would make a phone call to the White House saying, don't you dare give them a ride on Air Force One. First of all, nobody tells Joe Biden what to do. That little Irishman has a nasty temper. We just don't see it. That's what I believed. I did not think there was anything legitimate about that story. And I mean, it really made my blood boil because it it would it would make one believe that the ambassadors of either country would be ignorant enough to tell the other country what you can and cannot do. I just did not believe that. Physically, it made no sense because they would have to get off one plane and get on another. That could take up to 2 hours or more, depending. And you want to get home and see your children. Why would anybody waste time like that? That story always makes my blood boil. Always makes my blood boil. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you want to get under my skin, mention that Air Force One story. And the other one, when Jill Biden didn't go to the Invictus games, people are saying, oh, that was the British saying that I don't believe that either. I wouldn't say this publicly at the time, but I'm going to say it now. Jill Biden has traveled less than any first lady that I've ever known in my lifetime. She has made very few independent trips. She has yet to actually travel to speak for Kamala Harris. She barely leaves Joe Biden's side. Now we know why. Now we know why. But before, I didn't want to say it because I was only interested in the Democrats keeping the White House. So I wouldn't speak it publicly. But she didn't go to the Invictus games. Either she did not want to or she needed to be by her husband's side. That is what I believe. Is that she needed to be there for Joe Biden. She has made very few trips as first lady. Very few trips. She spends most of her time with her husband. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys, thanks for letting me get that off my chest because those are two things that really, really bothered me. The Air Force One story, and then, of course, the thing about Jill Biden with the Invictus Games. Do not give those people that much credit. Do not give those people that much credit. Uh, okay, let's move on, you guys. I still got so much. Now, during the event, the king was bestowed with an honorary title, and it is said that Camilla was in tears during the farewell as King tells Samoans he hopes to survive long enough to come back. Now, I would love to believe that this monster had any type of sentiment. This individual who tortured Princess Diana is alleged to have cried and wept for Charles III. They don't even live together. They don't even live together. In actuality, I'm going to show you what she was. She's not crying, she's laughing, in my opinion. I'm going to allege that she's laughing. And you want to know why she's laughing? This is why she's laughing. This is why she's laughing, because those poor people, had to continue this ceremony out in the rain. Camilla spent the bulk of her time during this ceremony whispering like some grade school kid to the gentleman that was seated behind her. I showed you guys yesterday how she kept covering her face with that fan and whispering, telling jokes or whatever she was doing to that guy that was behind her. And this went on for most of the ceremony. So you want me to believe that all of a sudden that she had become so emotional and so overwhelmed with sentiment seemingly out of nowhere? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Take a look here. This went on for most of the visit, most of this ceremony. This went on. And while they were sitting there beneath that canopy, the rest of the people involved in the ceremony were in the rain. And so, as far as I can tell, from my point of view, she was not crying, she was laughing. This whole thing was a joke to her. Oh my God, you guys, Camilla did it again. She's laughing behind her fan at whatever performance is happening in front of her. Seriously, what trailer park did they find this wretched woman in? It's beyond pathetic. That is what one of the squatties said. And that's the video of Camilla, which I didn't even bother to okay, you know what? I'm going to share it with you. I didn't even bother to save that video, but she was literally sitting there, acting very silly, very silly. She did not take this ceremony or anything that was happening. None of it she had taken serious. So I refuse to believe that she was actually sitting there crying. I just don't believe it. Look at her. You can hear the rain. This went on the entire time. That's what she did for the entire visit. This is what was so amusing. I guess the language that they used, she must have found that hilarious. I just don't believe it. I do not believe it. YM Droid says she's laughing because she's barnyard trash. Jokes on her though, because something covering her face is her is the best look. Thank you, YM Droid. Absolutely. It was very, very tacky. I do not believe she was crying. I just don't. She was crying, laughing. Take a look at that one more time. Take a look at this one more time. Hold on. Everybody, everybody is looking straight ahead except for her and her little girlfriend back there. Her and the eunuch behind Charles. Whatever little courtier eunuch that is behind Charles, that's who she's talking to. Even Charles is trying not to be distracted. Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's just like I said yesterday, it's days like this that I miss Queen Elizabeth. This is these are why I have to say with all honesty, because there was that continuity and consistency. With Charles spent millions of dollars to help Camilla, to help recover or to help uplift her reputation. Millions of dollars. He has $1 billion duchy. And yet she walks out of a castle or a palace, not a hotel, not some flashy house, but an official royal residence. She has hairdressers. She has dressers. She can get a pedicure, manicure, anything she wants, 24 hours a day. And yet she leaves the house in a state of disgrace with a F.W. Woolworth house dress on and something that looks like, I don't know, some kind of shower curtain I don't know what that is. It looks like she's reenacting that scene from Gone with the Wind. Do you like it? I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist. That is unbelievable. With everything else that is causing that institution to descend into irrelevance, then they roll this old thing out. And she just ruins everything. Her presence is a big downer. Say what you will about Elizabeth II. Anybody and everybody can respect consistency. You respect someone being consistent. You could respect you could disagree with someone as long as they're being consistent. If they're standing firm in their values or their truth or whatever, there's always going to be a level of respect for that. But then there's Camilla, who is, I believe it was Maggie Smith said of Dolores Van Cartier in Sister Act. Absolutely not. She's a conspicuous woman designed to stick out. And that's what Camilla is, a conspicuous woman designed to stick out. She is a very conspicuous woman, and she is definitely designed to stick out. I mean, there's nothing lowbrow. Well, everything's about her lowbrow, but there's nothing unassuming about her because she always sticks out for the worst possible reason. And this is what Charles moved heaven and earth for. Charles fought his mother, he fought his father, he fought the government. Do you realize that Charles went to war to put this woman in the position that she's in? And for all of the money that was spent, trashing his son's life, trashing his other son's life, um, conspiring and plotting against God knows who else, accepting bags of money from Folsom and Mason, cash for honors, all of these things he did. And this is what we have to show for it. Huh? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? For all of the sacrifice, all of the plotting and scheming, this is what they have to show for it. Everybody knows the Queen Mother was constantly inebriated, but even the Queen Mother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, had a certain level of grace about her. But not this one. Not this one. Now, before I get into this one right here, this is going to take me a minute. You guys, this one made my blood boil. I don't know. You know what? I really should do this one tomorrow, but since we're already here, since I've gone through the trouble. When I saw this, hold on, I need to stand up. I need to stand up. Let me stretch. Let me stretch. Ooh. Maureen. Maureen, Maureen. I'm gonna beat your ass, Maureen, Maureen. Wasn't that a song from Dolly Parton? Maureen, Maureen, Maureen. Don't make me read your ass, Maureen, Maureen. I think that was a song from Dolly Parton. I'm not sure. She had a song called Maureen. And it was about some broad that lived in her neighborhood that rubbed her the wrong way. And she was about to go over to her house and snatch her weave out, right? She was about to go over to Maureen's house and snatch that weave out of her hair because Maureen had worked her last nerves. Okay? The 10 mistakes that show Meghan has the worst judgment in the world. Now, I wasn't even going to talk about this whole thing that started with what's her name? Jenny Brown, Julie Brown, whatever her name is. Notice I haven't even mentioned it. But then all of a sudden, here come Richard Eden with his BS. The 10 mistakes that shows Meghan has the worst judgment in the world. I revealed for the first time the one I was directly involved with. You know, Hoghead Pierce Morgan is very good at making things that have nothing to do with him about him, right? Pierce Morgan is expert at inserting himself in stuff that does not concern him. I will never, ever give Maureen credit for something like that because she's not clever enough. Okay. She's absolutely not clever enough. Well, I could think of 10 mistakes that Kate Middleton has made, right? Would you like to see what I identify as Kate Middleton's 10 mistakes? Because I am a royal expert. The only thing that I don't have is an English accent, unless I'm doing my impersonation of the Queen or somebody else. I don't have the English accent, but I am a royal expert, and I'm an expert because I say so. And to be a royal expert, you don't really need any formal education. You just have to say, I am. And because I say I am, so I am a royal expert. So, are you all ready to identify Kate Middleton's 10 mistakes? Let's go with this one. How about that time when she sat there thumbing through that binder looking for stuff she could not understand, even if you explained it to her, in the presence of Jill Biden, First Lady of the United States of America, and also happens to have a doctorate of education, a doctor of education. And yet somebody thought it was a good idea to pair them up as though they're equals, right? As though Kate's life experience or her formal education prepared her to sit across the table from Dr. Jill Biden. That was a huge mistake. Huge. Huge mistake. There was nothing in this life or the next, if you believe in reincarnation, even in her next few lives, there is nothing that Kate Middleton has that would prepare her to be in the presence of Dr. Jill Biden. Let me demonstrate.
It came from a White House reporter, and it was about family.
Your Royal Highness, do you have any wishes for your new niece, Lilibet?
Oh, I wish her all the very best. I can't wait to meet her because we haven't yet met her yet. So hopefully that will be soon.
That will be soon. That will be soon. Girl, bye. Bye, girl. That will be soon.
A White House reporter, and it was about family.
Your Royal Highness, do you have any wishes for your new niece, Lilibet?
Oh, I wish her all the very best. I can't wait to meet her because we haven't yet met her yet. So hopefully that will be soon.
That was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. Very hard to watch. I was embarrassed for her. It was so hard to watch that someone had the wisdom to shut it down, leaving Dr. Jill Biden so frustrated that she literally was speechless. Okay? So that's mistake number one. Shall we go to another mistake? Get comfortable because we're going to be here for a minute. We're going to be here for a minute. I apologize, but we're going to be here for a minute. But yeah, that was a mistake. What's another mistake? How about going to a food bank empty-handed? Prince and Princess of Wales neglected to bring something for their caning season, visited a food bank in Windsor earlier this morning, empty hands. They went to a food bank and didn't bring any food. They went to a food bank and didn't even bring any food. Who does that? Oh, huh? Who does that? So, empty hands at a food bank. There's another mistake. How about going over to Ireland dressed like the Jolly Green Giant? Out of all of the painful, painful things that has happened to the people of Ireland because of the government of England, of Great Britain. I mean, the British have put the Irish through hell. England has put Ireland through hell. And with all of that pain and suffering, was this supposed to finish them off? Was this like detonating a weapon of mass destruction? You send Kate over to Ireland looking like Kate's country cottage kitchen curtains. That outfit looks like, well, you know what I call it. I call it Kate's country cottage kitchen curtains. That's what that outfit is. So that's another mistake. Dressing like a self-contained um, ecosystem. Yeah, a self-contained ecosystem. That was a huge mistake. Or how about going to Scotland when Nicola Sturgeon said, "Please do not come to Scotland. We're in the throes of a global pandemic. Please do not show up. We beg you, stay home. We're going through a global pandemic. Do not come to Scotland." And so she packed her best coat dress and she went anyway. Okay. And the reception that they received in Scotland was absolutely dreadful. I would say that's another mistake. What has Kate done to her eyebrows? This is one of my favorites because it reminds me of Leonard Nimoy in the television series Star Trek. It always reminds me of Mr. Spock in Star Trek. What has Kate done to her eyebrows? She can't leave them alone, but critics say the results are unflattering and aging. Oh, that's what happened to her. She won't leave her eyebrows alone. So she's not old as she appears. It's because she can't stop messing with her eyebrows. Duchess of Cambridge sported thick, dark, wavy looking brows this week. Her eyebrows were noticeably darker and bushier than in December. Over the years, they've changed beyond recognition, not always for the better. Well, would you like to see what they're talking about? There you go. Now, which one looks the most like Dr. Spock or Mr. Spock? I'm going to say it was August 2012. That's when she looked like she was from the planet Vulcan. What do you think? Yeah, I'm going to say 2012. She looked like she was from the planet Vulcan. Now, I'm going to say that her best eyebrow, I'm going to say probably February of 2016 is when she finally decided to leave them alone and allow a professional to do them. What do you all think? Yeah, so okay. Okay. Um I'm going to give you that one. That's a mistake. She doesn't have her own personality and she won't leave her eyebrows alone. Another mistake. More? How about that time she went over to Denmark? She didn't know what she was there for. The press didn't know why she was there. Princess Mary and Queen Marguerite, they had no idea why she was there, but yet she showed up. But you want to know what the mistake was? When she got there, she was late. After she got there, she was late meeting the Queen. Also, she walked in front of the Queen. I repeat, she almost ran over Queen Marguerite. Why is she walking in front of Queen Mary? I'm sorry, why is she walking in front of Mary? Mary is higher higher in rank. Um, she should follow protocol and walk a step behind Mary. So I believe this was was this while the Queen was alive? I wonder if this is while I think this is while Queen Elizabeth was alive. I think so. Which means that Kate was not the Princess of Wales, but Mary was the crown princess, which means I do believe that means she may have outranked her, maybe. But anyway, at this point, Mary was a step, and Mary continues to be ahead because now she is queen. So that means that Kate is obliged to curtsy to Queen Mary. You know that, right? Kate is obliged to curtsy to her now. But this was not the only offense. Here we go. Do you see where Kate kept trying to walk in front of her? And at some point, she did walk in front of her. And they said that Princess Mary, Crown Princess Mary, had to subtly nudge her and remind her to stop doing it. And even right there, you can see she's trying to overtake the old lady. What is wrong with her? Why is she walking so close to her? She should not be ahead of Mary, let alone walking side by side with the Queen. Mistake. The other mistake was when the British media was trying to order the Danish media around. They went over there, the courtiers from Kensington Palace were trying to boss around the Danish media. They are so used to bullying the media back in the UK. They're so used to having their way that they went over to Denmark and thought they were going to boss them around. And you know what happened? They took the filter off of her photos. That's what happened. Take a look at her face in the British media on the left. Take a look at her face with the Danish media on the right. Do you see the difference? Filter, no filter. Filter, no filter. Now you're going to learn to be more respectful. Otherwise, we're going to turn the filter off. And that's exactly what happened. She lost her filter. And as a result of that, she looks like curded milk. Woo! As a result of that, she looks like cheese curd. You don't get to boss people around in their own house. Another mistake, do not leave the house looking like Irene Ryan from the Beverly Hillbillies. If you're walking around looking like Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, that's a mistake. If your hat is so ugly that you look like Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, you're making a big mistake, right? You got to step up your hat game. You're fancier. That's a mistake. Do not greet children of color through a chain link fence. That's a mistake. Do not put on a lace dress and accompany your husband in colonial attire and step on the back of the same Range Rover that your step grandmother or grandmother-in-law, well, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Do not try to reenact the old days, the glory days of empire, because it comes across as being a bit racist and tone deaf. This is another one of Kate's many mistakes. She thought by dressing up in an outfit just like the Queen wore 50 years ago, that she was going to win the hearts and minds of the people of Jamaica. This shows that she has no imagination of her own. The best she could do was to dress up like Queen Elizabeth II. Big mistake. Again, going out of the house wearing a thong with a dress that's about to blow over your head, mistake. Another mistake is when you fulfill your obligation as a honorary military officer, and instead of wearing the regulation fatigues, you decide to put on your Lululemon athletic pants and go through maneuvers like that. I repeat, you're not supposed to put on Lululemons and carry out your duties as an honorary Army officer. That is tacky. Yoga pants. The other thing that's pretty tacky is when it takes you 10 years to come up with 5 questions. I repeat, 10 years to think of 5 questions. It seems like in 10 years, you would have the questions and the answers. But in her case, it took her 10 years just to come up with the questions. That's a mistake. And then when you decide that you're ready to have your, shall we say, what's the word I'm looking for? Your big project, your big contribution, your life's work. When you have something called early years, or what was it, early years, or let me see, hearing from the teachers, parents, yeah, I think this was either the early years or shaping us. I think it was the early years. When you have a project as a 40-something-year-old woman that sounds hauntingly familiar, that seems as though it was allegedly plagiarized from a 10-year-old's TED Talk. Okay? It's, if you look at her material and then listen to this child, you will know that it seems as though one of the courtiers literally plagiarized a child. That's a mistake, allegedly. Okay. Has that been 10 mistakes, or should I continue? I think I lost count. Yeah. So one of Kate's team arriving with copies, paste folders of everything, ready to brief the creative team for, okay, it was shaping us. Next time, Kate, just let the creative people use their own imaginations. So yes, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Or how about this mistake? Wearing white to another woman's wedding. Okay? You wore white to another woman's wedding. And if you don't believe me, I have proof. I have the evidence. I have the receipts. That is a white dress. There may be a little yellowing to that hat, but that is a white dress. Now, it's not super white, but it's a white dress. And it's too white to wear to another woman's wedding. Let me show you my receipts. You want to see my receipt? 2015, 2016, 17, 18, and 2022. Duchess of Cambridge recycles white Alexander McQueen coat dress. She's worn that coat dress 5 times. She wore that coat dress 5 times. And it just so happens that she wore it in 2018 to the newly minted Duchess of Sussex's wedding. That is very tacky and a mistake. That was a huge mistake, although we know it was deliberate. How about this? I want to show you. When she went to Pippa's wedding, she wore beige. When she went to Beatrice's wedding, or was it Eugenie's? She wore burgundy. But when she went to Meghan's wedding, what did she wear? White. Any questions? Okay, that was a mistake or deliberate. How about choosing your own artist to paint your portrait? Paul Ilmsley, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, 2012, official royal portrait. She chose this guy. She handpicked the artist, who obviously does not like her. This could not be a friend, because friends don't paint other friends to look like some dead-eyed, aloof, unhuman creature. This is awful. Absolutely awful. It's actually pretty accurate, but as an artist, he should have done her a solid and made her look more lively. But that is the artist that she chose, and that was a mistake. How about this mistake? You walk up to a holy man, you walk up to a cleric. Oops, Kate, awkward moment at Islamic Center. Yes, Kate Middleton, who was supposed to be showing Meghan the ropes. Remember that? Kate Middleton, who's been around that family for 20 years, made a huge faux pas by walking into an Islamic center and sticking her little clammy, bony hand out and trying to touch a cleric. And according to their rules, their traditions, he's not supposed to touch or embrace any woman that is not a relative or his wife. That is not allowed. So that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Kate Middleton handshake snubbed by community leader. Sure was. Sure was. Silly wabbit. Or how about going over to Ireland? Princess Kate, Ireland belongs to the Irish. Woman during visit to Belfast. Irish woman was polite, but to the point. During a walkabout in Belfast yesterday, Princess Kate was told Ireland belongs to the Irish by a woman in the crowd. So going over there and trying to be all girl friendly with people that don't care for you, that's a mistake. Poor Kate. Or how about emerging from the hospital after the birth of your second child, third child? Why would you oh no, that was George, right? You emerge from the hospital dressed like Rosemary's Baby. She left the hospital dressed up like someone in a horror movie. You couldn't make this up. You could not make this up. She literally walks out of the hospital, the Lindo wing, dressed like Rosemary's Baby. I'm going to say that was a mistake. Or how about, can you taste the smell by smelling it? Mistake. That was a mistake. Can you taste the smell by smelling it? Can you taste the smell by smelling it? That's a mistake. Huge mistake. Or how about the day you started a fight with someone right before their wedding, right? You literally made the bride cry before her wedding because anyway, y'all know the story. That was a mistake. Was that 10? Because I ain't keeping count. How about when you went to a movie premiere dressed as an 80-year-old woman, 81-year-old woman? You went to a movie premiere dressed as an 81-year-old woman. Mistake. You and your husband are overdressed for a day camp, right? This is a day camp. They went overdressed like they just walked out of a Williams Sonoma's. And that's a mistake right there. The other mistake, why are you using a handsaw when you could just prop the stick up against the crate and step on it? So you know what the mistake is? Doing too much. Okay. How about when you reach out to rub your husband's neck only to realize that you just touched the jackass? You try to comfort your husband, and in the confusion, you began to rub a jackass. That's a mistake. How about going to the Wimbledon as the patron of the Wimbledon games? How about you go to Wimbledon and in front of the world, you start flirting with another woman's husband, allegedly? You go to a tennis match, to a tennis championship match, and you start flirting, allegedly, with Roger Federer in front of his wife. Don't believe me? Did I hear you say you don't believe me? Okay. Okay, look at this. Princess Kate looks thrilled to catch up with old pal Roger Federer as he's honored at Wimbledon, but his wife Mirka doesn't look quite as happy. Yeah. You know why she don't look happy? Because she's flirting with her husband. But you know who else was not happy? Kensington Palace, because they quickly called Daily Mail and said, hey, you got to change that headline. Princess Kate looks thrilled to catch up with old pal Roger Federer as he is honored at Wimbledon, while wife Mirka concentrates on the action on court. Mistake. That was a mistake. Huge mistake. You see there? You see what they did there? They changed the headlines. Let me see. 1402, and that's the 4th of July, 2023. And there you can see it was updated. Oh wait, update. Oh, that's the update. 9/18, the 5th of July. Yeah. So after all those hours, the 4th of July, the 5th of July, correction. They had to correct it because it made somebody look like a hoe. How about asking a hardworking American country singer over for tea while they're in your country to work? I repeat, the laziest woman in all of Britain tried to send for, she tried to send for her. She didn't invite her, she sent for her. She tried to encourage Dolly Parton to help her get some brownie points in the press, right? She was trying to hitch a ride on Dolly Parton's popularity. Dolly Parton had to decline tea invite from Kate Middleton, jokes she wasn't going to promote my rock album. Dolly Parton was over there to promote an album, not to hang out with a commoner at a castle. So she said no. And the real bad part about it is she was asking Stella Parton's sister. And we all know Stella Parton cannot stand the royal family, but she loves Harry and Meghan. So asking Dolly Parton to come over for tea while she's over there to work was a huge mistake because Dolly Parton went on the radio and told everybody that she snubbed Kate Middleton. That's right. Dolly Parton declined. She declined. The singer and actor explained to the BBC her surprising yet iconic reason for declining the invite from the UK royal. Well, the reason why is because she had to work. That's it. She had to work. And if you're not going to promote my album, I don't need your tea. I need record sales. Okay? Little girl, little girl, little girl. I'm here working. I don't have time to sit around and amuse you. I got work to do, okay? So unless you're going to promote my album, I am going to have to respectfully decline. And I'm going to tell everybody how desperate and needy you are that you would ask me to waste my time sitting up there with you having some tea when I came over here to work.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes, ain't nobody got time for that. So that was a mistake. How about that time? Yeah, was this more than 10? I haven't, I lost count. How about that time when you turned your back on Crown Princess Victoria when she came over there to attend some gala or show or whatever, right? How about that time when you was just running your mouth and you turned your back on her? And then all of the people, what country is she from? Sweden? Is she from Sweden or Norway? All of the papers, all of the news media in Crown Princess, what is her name? Yeah. Anyway, all of her people was mad. Oh, they was mad because Kate Middleton and her husband, William, they turned their backs on her and made them wait until they got through talking to people. It was embarrassing. Oh, it was so embarrassing. Yep. That was last December. And that was so embarrassing. Do I have that one? Let me see. Crown Princess Victoria. So that really did happen. And Crown Princess Victoria was furious. Imagine being forced to have to stand behind downwind from those hair extensions while everybody's waiting for them to come inside so they can start the performance. That was a mistake. How about when you go to the first or second Earth flop? Yeah, this is second Earth flop, dressed as a windsock. Out of all the things you could have worn, you decide to impress the people of Boston by showing up dressed as a windsock. Big mistake. Or how about when you do Photoshop, more like a Frankenstein to a photo, and have the whole world laughing at you? You become the laughing stock of the royal family. As a matter of fact, you have them put a kill notice. You have the Associated Press and Reuters put a kill notice on your photo. Now that was a huge mistake. Huh? That was a big mistake. If you don't know how to cut and paste, then don't do it at all. Yeah, so I think that was it. That was it for all of Kate Middleton's mistakes. I wasn't keeping track. How many was that? Because there was a few more I could have thrown in there. Anyway, this happened last night. What a beautiful moment. You got Beyonce, Tina Knowles, and the next president of the United States. That was a beautiful moment. I love it. And there is the endorsement that someone mentioned earlier from Philadelphia. Yes, the Philadelphia Tribune endorsed Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. And of course, Michelle Obama with that very powerful speech. I was going to play part of it for you, but seeing that this is much longer than I planned, we're going on 3 hours, you guys. So let me just keep it moving. And lastly, and this is it, you guys, I'm done. Lastly, tomorrow, is it Duchess Royal Duchess? Anyway, one of my favorite content creators has yet another video coming out. So you have to make sure that you see it. And it's going to be about what you see there, the charm offensive. Let me see what she titled that video. But anyway, I love her work, and I'm going to be looking forward to it. Let's see, 13 hours before it premieres. But it is Royal Tour, Part 1. Harry and Meghan needs royal family advisor to have successful tours? Question mark. Be serious. So I'm going to grab the link for that, and I'm going to put it at the top of the chat so you could go ahead and, put it, you know what I mean. And plus, you want to make sure that you subscribe and all that kind of stuff. So let me put that at the top of the chat. There we go. Okay, replace pin message. So there you go, you guys. Please check on that. Go to that link and subscribe, share, and of course, when you watch the video, make sure you like it. It's going to be really good. She puts together some amazing videos, and I think you're going to love it. I know you will. As a matter of fact, make sure you share all of those videos. They're very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me. They're very precise, very well edited. There's a great dialogue, very easy to understand. So if there is someone that you have been trying to explain why we do the work that we do, why do we push back? What is it about Harry and Meghan that we spend so much time helping them to fight their corner? Glow, who uses the name Glow on Twitter, now called X, she actually does an incredible job. So you could go back and look at any of those videos. Sometimes when you're looking for something Sussex that can help you, I don't know, clean your dishes or do whatever chores, I could always put her on and just listen because I learn a lot, and it's witty, informative, and just all around great material. So there you go. She's going to talk about royal tours, and I cannot wait. This is part 1. So I guess we have to wait for the next one. Doesn't matter. Duchess Royal is amazing. So I don't know what else I could say. Just make sure you go over there and handle your business. And with that, you guys, I just want to share with you my very first California sunset. I was talking about that the other day, and I was thinking about it because someone very close to me that was also close to my aunt wanted to remember her and pray for her. So he went to the beach in California, and he spelled her name out in the sand just as the sun was setting, which I thought was a very beautiful thing. But yeah, that is my first California sunset, and it was everything I wanted it to be. It was so beautiful. Someone told me years ago, they say, if you haven't ever seen a California sunset, you really have to do it. And so I believe I was at Venice Beach when I took these photos. But yeah, that's where I was, Venice Beach. And it was December. Anyway, it was kind of chilly, but I'll never forget that night. So that's it for now. 3 hours and 1 minute and 15 seconds. Thank you all so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate it. And please try not to make the same mistakes that Kate Middleton has made, okay? Try not to insult Crown Princess Victoria or do a horrible cut and paste job on the photo, dressing like a windsock, trying to ride on Dolly Parton's coattails, huh? Flirting with somebody else's husband at a tennis match, allegedly. Or dressing up like you're going to close on some real estate. Well, you know the rest. Making the Duchess of Sussex cry. Asking, can you taste the smell by smelling it? Emerging from the Lindo wing looking like Rosemary's Baby. Trying to shake hands with the Irish. Trying to touch the hand of a cleric. Huh? Finding your worst enemy, somebody who you didn't know had it in for you, and asking him to paint your portrait. Or how about wearing white to another woman's wedding? Oh, I'm going around. Anyway, you get the point. I'm not going to go through all those again. But if Meghan has made 10 mistakes, how many mistakes has Kate Middleton made? Huh? Plagiarism, allegedly. Lululemon pants, doing military drills, showing all your business and stuff. I mean, they're just too numerous to count. But she's made a lot of mistakes. Lots of them. More than 10. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Every day? Wow, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. That's beautiful. That's very nice. I'm jealous. California sunset. Okay, you all act like it ain't been 3 hours. I'm fixing to go. Y'all. It's been 3 hours. I'm done. So why are you all still here? Go on now. Go on. Now get out of here. Get some rest. Start your day. Go to church. It's been 3 hours. 3. I done lost my voice. And I got it back. As you can see, I got it back. I managed to point out several mistakes that Kate Middleton has made. I exposed Camilla, the Queen Consort, as being a big phony. What else have I done? I demonstrated how foolish King Charles III is. I mean, I've been busy. I have been very busy. Oh, you know what? Today I put up some new shower curtains. The curtain is 96, I think it's 96 inches. Now, what I didn't realize is because of the ductwork, the ceiling in the bathroom is lower than the ceiling in the rest of the house, right? The bathroom and the hallway. So I had to hem the curtains. Fortunately, I had some of the hem that you just iron it. And so I used that magic hem or whatever you call it. Not hemp, hem. And anyway, the curtain looks beautiful now. But I had this shower curtain that I was so tired of it. It was not good. And listen, in my lifetime, I have probably only purchased no more than a handful of shower curtains because it takes me so long to find just the right one. Well, this one is very beige. It's like various tones of beige. I'm very much into beige now, thanks to the Duchess of Sussex. But I use one of those tension rods, and I mean the shower curtain is all the way up to the ceiling. Now, I don't think that's good. I have to leave it open so it can dry out because otherwise it doesn't get that air circulation like it would if I didn't do that. So, yeah, I don't want to get mold. So that just means I have to be very vigilant to make sure that I dry it out before I pull the curtain close. You know what I mean? Okay. I think we're done. I think some of them got the message and fine. Oh, you fell asleep and came back? I'm sorry. Well, you didn't hear the 10 mistakes that Kate made, have you? Well, get comfortable. Let's go through the list again. Mistake number 1. I'm just kidding. I'm not about to do that again. But she made a lot of mistakes. You know which one I didn't even mention? I didn't even mention the chicken legs. I didn't even mention the chicken legs. I'm going to have to do the list over again tomorrow. Okay, love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Have a great night. Oh, yeah, by the way, thank you, moderators. Thank you for everyone who has a membership to Royal Sussex. Thank you, Jerry White, for watching. And even though you're not able to get into the live chat, I know you're there. And thank you, Dorothy Ross, for letting us know that you're doing okay. It's been too long, but we're so glad to know that you're doing better. At least I hope so. And who else? Anyway, that'll do it. Oh, you're not going to find your groove, are you? Because a lot of times people go over there to get to find their groove. So, oh, okay, you're taking your hubby. Okay, all right, that's a good idea. Yeah, an organized trip is okay with okay. Oh, very good. Glad to hear that. Okay. Royal expert. You know me so well, Connie Bomber. You know me so well. Okay, I'm just looking at some of your comments. All right, you guys, I'm going to say good night. Can't believe it's still 799 people here. Okay, I had fun, you guys. Thank you all for trusting me to do this work. I really do love this community, and I really enjoy what we have. And most of the other content creators, most of them, I am crazy about. Some more than others, but different styles and everything. That's always important. But I don't get a chance to see enough of the other. I was watching somebody's channel and I forgot who it was. And anyway, she does some really good work. Is it Sussex Spotlight? I forgot who it was. But anyway, Great work. Good morning, TMCD. We're just about to leave, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Connie Baumer. Good night. Is Lydia still here? Gosh, this was way too late and it went on way too long. So I'm going to make sure that I go on earlier tomorrow. But I got so much work done yesterday. When I put up that shower curtain, it just inspired me to do some deep cleaning. Yeah, I did some deep cleaning. But I've had that same shower curtain. I'm embarrassed to say, but I've had that same shower curtain, I think, for 10 years. It's nice, but I got to change the colors in my bathroom. I'm getting bored with that color scheme I got. So I'm going to go to a very muted tone. Yeah. I'm going to get into the beige and brown. I'm kind of superstitious. I don't think it's a good idea to have brown in your bathroom, but I'm going to push against convention and add some brown. 3:24. What time is it here? Holy cow, is it late? Oh, you've been here for 3 hours? Oh, why am I talking so much? I don't think I'm manic. Woo! Okay, y'all. Good night. Good night. And I'm still full of energy. You know that? I am still full of energy. You think it was that piece of chocolate I just ate? That piece of chocolate sent all the way from Switzerland? What was this one? This is a Lint. What kind was that one? Was it salted caramel? Oh, it was I think it's just a regular chocolate. Milk chocolate. Anyway, that was good. That was good. Just melts in your mouth. Thank you, Connie Balmer. There's nothing like a fine chocolate. Speaking of fine chocolate, where is that at? Speaking of fine chocolate, look at how beautiful my skin is. It's very smooth. But I've always been blessed with very smooth skin. Now, the rest of me is a train wreck, but the skin always on point. Always on point. Let me show you. Oh, you can't really see it there. But yeah, okay, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Your Godiva chocolate is saying good night or good morning. And then sometimes people be asking me, what do you use on your face? And my response, whatever. It don't matter. I always look the same. In 2 hours, I hope you got enough rest. I hope you got enough rest. Oh, you're on duty right now. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing. Okay. Okay, y'all. I'm fixing to go. I know I keep saying it, but I'm feeling kind of chatty tonight. Oh, Korean skincare all the way? Oh, Godiva chocolate. Yeah, that is good. Hi, Denise Marcus. It's 2:27 a.m. Have a good morning. All right. Well, thank you. You have a good morning as well. Cheers. All the best to you. Oh, you guys know there was a really good documentary about the Dream Girls. It just came out 2 weeks ago. It's on um YouTube. Have you all seen it? I'll get the link for it if you want to see it. Dream Girls documentary? Okay. Check 1, 2, 3. There we go. Stage right, the story of Dream Girls. And I am telling you, I am not going, even though the rough times are showing. There's just no way, there's no way. We're part of the same place. We're part of the same kind. We must share the same blood. We're something, something, something. I know. Why don't I just get off of this blasted thing? I'm fixing to go, y'all. We've been on here long enough. Okay. And that will do it. Love you guys. See you next time.